I want to build a giant LEGO MOC for every Star Wars episode there is, and in this video we are going to start with the Battle of Naboo on the Great Grass Plains. Man, this battle was awesome to watch as a child. I liked the big MTTs where all the droids are coming out, as well as the funky tag of the GunGans, and we are going to build all of that. But let's start with the planning process. I want to build this MOC on 15 grey base plates and lay them out just to visualize where everything is going to be later on. The first big question is how we are going to build the grass on the ground. Well, I could have just used the plain plates with all the studs on top and put the minifigures on that and be done with it. But honestly, this looks kind of stupid, as well as the solution to just put 2x2 tiles everywhere. Kind of like a bathroom fight if you ask me. So I came up with a new solution to just use a mixture of tiles and plates. This might surprise you at first, but if you look from a little bit more far away, it looks really good, and I'm very happy with the irregular pattern on the ground. Another big point is that the MTTs are kind of driving downhill, so I need to incorporate that in my MOC too. I tried to do that with a little corner here. As you can see, I used these cut plates to just make it appear like there is a little bit of an angle going upwards the hill, sometimes a little bit more steep, sometimes a little bit less. And as you can see, I also added some little cheese slopes here to make it a little bit more different at some parts, and these round tiles, this is also a cool look, I think. And yeah, now I have to do this with 15 grey base plates. Not the best job in the world, but it will look good at the end. Here you can see how all of them look next to each other. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. Meanwhile, I made the biggest brickling order of my life. 16,000 pieces are here on the table now, and you can probably guess it. They are for a big MTT. No, for two big MTTs. Yes, you heard that right. I'm going to build two MTTs and not the regular LEGO version, which is kind of awesome as a playset from 2007, but we need to go bigger. And as you can see here, I started with my buddy Nick and built up the ground skeleton structure of the MTT, and later on added all of the panels to transform it into the brown beast we all know from the movies. And I can tell you honestly, this was the most challenging building experience of my life. These panels are connected with ball joints on the outside of the MTT and are going in every single direction. You need to have very steady hands to connect all of this, and while it was very challenging, it was also a very refreshing building experience for me, since the LEGO sets are kind of possible to build for everyone. You might be asking if I designed this myself. No, I didn't. This is a model from Brick Vault. They provided me with these instructions, and you can also find a lot of different models on their website. It's so awesome to have a variety of sets that are so challenging and very well built. And the designers also put a lot of work into it. So if you are looking for a challenging building experience, you can head on to their website and also save 15% with my code BRICKSTORY. But now the MTT is finished and I'm just happy with how it looks. You can look at it from every single angle and will always find a new building technique you've never seen before. This will make the MOC so much better, and it also has some functions. For example, you can open the hatch here on the sides and pull out a little tray where you can store different things. Of course, on the top there is a little hatch that can be opened to access the pilot area. And yes, the most important function is also there. The big hatch on the front will open up automatically when you pull out the rack inside. 36 droids are stored there and are ready to head into battle. Once you turn this little knob on the other side, then the whole rack will lower and you can pull the switch on top and they get unfolded to the left and right. And yeah, you probably guessed it, I built two of the MTTs. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm really happy I did it because it will look so enormously good in the MOC and so menacingly, especially when we place both of them on the grass. As you can see here, it was very tricky to place them because both of them are very fragile, but it's definitely worth it once the job is done. I did the same thing with the other MTT on the other side, but I kept the lid closed this time so that you can see both the opened one and the closed one next to each other. But the next part was even more tedious. We placed a lot of battle droids in front of the MTTs. Kind of the first stage that is going to attack the GunGans underneath the shield. And I'm so happy that I recorded the process. This looks just so good here on the time lapse. I really like it. As well as these droidicas, I placed them in between the different armies of battle droids. And yes, they are actually in the Battle of Naboo. You can see a very brief shot where they roll into the shield of the GunGans. They are also built very nicely with these lipstick elements. You can see here underneath we have the red and the gray of the plastic, and they kind of symbolize the red eyes of the destroyer droids. They are also accompanied by some stab speeders, which I placed next to the MTTs. I really like the kind of dimension you get when you see both of these models next to each other. It just shows you how big the MTT actually is next to a minifigure. Another very important part of the Separatist army is the AAT. I placed one right in the middle of the two MTTs to just support them. It's also a MOC model from Brickvault. As you can see here, they used the printed parts from the very first AAT, came out in 2000. That is very nostalgic to me. Well, and since our droid army is very strong already, we have to start with the GunGan Army. And what is the biggest part of the GunGan Army? Of course, the Cardoos. The GunGans can use them for transportation, and honestly, these models here look very, very good. The best building technique on them is the eye part. You can see that's just a round plate connected to a roller skate underneath. Next up are the Falumpa sets. They are also animals from the GunGans and pull these massive round wagons behind them, and inside of them you can see the boomers, these blue energy cores, which you might remember from this iconic Jar Jar scene. And you probably guessed it, we will need a lot of GunGans. I used the GunGans from the old Battle of Naboo set because they are the cheapest ones to get, but I swapped out the standard weapon pieces and also used some different legs as well as some different heads for them to kind of make them appear a little bit more diverse in the army. And yes, now we can start to set up the army. As you can see here in this time lapse, it's not as complicated as with the battle droids, since minifigure parts are a little bit easier to place than the robot bodies of the droids. And I also put in Captain Tarpals at the front and Jar Jar, who tries to pick up the boomers which got off the wagon. Of course, we also have a catapult, which is actually not that efficient, but I can really recommend you these balls from the new Ninjago sets as ammunition for them. Okay, but now we are ready for the final reveal of my Naboo MOC. Here it is, built on 3x5 grey base plates with a lot of minifigure and focus on the vehicles. I really like how it is included into the black Star Wars room, which I will also do a video about very, very soon. And I also learned a lot from building this MOC. Of course, you could argue that I could have used some more challenging building techniques and all of that, but for me it was the first MOC of this size, so I think it's a good start. Subscribe for more MOCs and please leave a comment down below what you think I should build next.